Hey y'all, I'm Cheyenne Tate Jones,
And I'm Kaberi Banerjee Murthy.
and we are proud to be co-chairing the Board of Directors for Neighborhood Funders Group and the search committee for our new co-presidents.
And I'm Melissa Madzel from Do Good Connections. My team and I are leading the search for the co-presidents and working closely with Shai, Kaberi, and the search committee of staff and board members. We want to give you a brief look today into NFG's move to a co-president and into the search process. Kaberi, we'll start with you. You've been an active leader at NFG for a number of years. Can you talk to us about why NFG decided to move to a shared leadership model for this next chapter?
So it starts with our mission to organize philanthropy to shift power and resources to communities working towards racial, gender, economic, disability, and in climate justice. The board and the staff started thinking about how to align our internal infrastructure more closely with our mission. So we started an organizational development journey about 15 months ago. And a joint committee of both management and non-management staff, board members, and member leaders experienced in transitions invested over a year working together with Imagine Us, an organizational development consulting practice, to think broadly about what is possible and what is also valuable as NFG continues to grow. And so coming out of that process, we realized that our work connecting philanthropy and movement really needed two leaders in the president role because the work is just simply too big for any one person to fulfill sustainably. And so we wanted to be able to create space for the folks who are filling that role to think expansively, to build deeper relationships, and to be really active internal leaders to our amazing staff. And we wanted to make sure that we were making that work right-sized and realized that we needed more than one human to be able to lead that with us.
And what were some of the things that you learned specifically about shifting to a co-leadership, co-president?
Well, the biggest thing that we learned is that no leadership model is perfect. So we're not expecting some sort of magical solution in a co-president model that erases all of the challenges of serving as an executive leader. And we also realize that we can move forward with a co-president model and know that it will work for right now, and not necessarily know or have to hold to the fact that this is how NFG needs to work for forever. And so it's helpful for us to know that this is like the right way of thinking about NFG's leadership for this next chapter of work. And then the last piece I would say that we learned is that it's most valuable whenever possible to have leaders who've already built trust and had relationship and working relationship with one another, so that they can move forward more quickly. We know that it is really critical for us to be able to take this next year and hopefully have our leaders be experienced in all of those ways of working with one another so that they can focus on the work at hand as opposed to needing to spend time building relationship and building trust in order to do the work with one another.
Shai, I'll turn to you now. You've been really active in thinking about how the new co-presidents will be supported as they step into these roles. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the board is thinking as we're preparing for that?
Absolutely. I'm super excited about this, especially because I'm stepping into the board co-chair position alongside Kaberi this month, and I know that we both will be deep, close partners with the new co-presidents. We've already established an onboarding and ongoing committee with the board so that we'll have a group of board members who can serve as thought partners and supporters of the co-presidents, not just for their first 90 days, but in an ongoing and thoughtful way. We also recognize that the co-presidents will need both time and resources to focus on their collaboration and on how they'll jointly lead the staff and the membership. So we're going to be giving them the space and the resources for that. Something that we've talked a lot about is the need to be adaptable. So while we're looking for co-presidents, and that's something we're fairly committed to at this point, we know that specific roles they play have some flexibility. We as a board want to hold space for the many possibilities and unknowns that may come up as we contend with this process and as we move forward, not just in this moment, but beyond. Although we're offering one version, which has a co-president funder organizing and a co-president political home as a jumping off point, we want to give the co-presidents the authority to think about how they'll divide their work.
And can you tell us a little bit about what's different in this search process than other search processes that you've seen, Shai?
Yeah, the co-president model is definitely different. At this point, we're only seeking pairs of candidates. That means folks will have to have some pretty important conversations with their colleagues before they decide to apply together. That might be a little awkward, but it's the only way to bring people into this role together.
And is the board open to any sort of matchmaking between candidates or applicants?
No, it's important to us, especially from the research and interviews with our transition committee, that co-presidents are people who've already worked together. We know that this is a big ask of folks, and we appreciate their willingness to take this approach. One of the things that we've learned in our transition process has been about the importance of adaptability. So, like I said earlier, things might change as we get further along in the process, but for now, this is what we're prioritizing.
What else is different with this search?
Yeah, as we selected Do Good Connections, we invited Melissa to join us early in the process to ensure that we were learning and what we were learning was going to be infused early and consistently throughout the search process. We're committed to sharing a lot of information with our candidates, especially those who get deeper into the process with us. We want to be open and transparent for anyone coming into the co-president role. And with the co-president model, our interviews will both have candidates interviewing individually as well as opportunities for them to interview together as a pair.
And Kaberi, before we wrap up, can you tell us where people can find more information?
Well, if folks are interested, we're so excited to share that the jobs board on the NFG website is up, and it's a place for folks to be able to quickly access the position profile. We are prioritizing applications that are in before January 31st. And so if you're interested, we would just say move quickly, and we look forward to being able to have you connect, Melissa, with all of the great candidates that are out there.